So, hey, BramRadio, here for another sesh, and our Instagram live folks. Glad you're here. Most of you, I'm glad you're here. You know who you are.
And Art.
Baker. So today we have something awesome. We have my friend and fellow skydiver. However, this guy is at another level. He is a RedBull athlete, RedBull Air Force pro wingsuiter, pro base jumper. I mean, you even had something coming up where you're going to Dubai to jump off some of the biggest buildings coming up. You're gonna do that later in the year. It's awesome. You're jumping off. If it has a little bit of altitude and it's fixed to the ground, you're jumping off it. If it has altitude and it's not fixed to the ground, you're jumping out of it. Yep. Miles Daisher, everybody. Woo! Yeah.
Thank you.
That's my man, Miles. Dude, well, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm fired up to be here. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Coming out because we have that big skydiver party.
Resurgence.
This resurgence.
The resurgence.
Vonnie's waiting for me to say the B word.
Yeah. Boogie down.
Yeah. For those of you that don't skydive, skydiver parties that involve skydiving are called boogies.
That's right.
And so I called Miles and just said, hey, we got this going on, man. Think you come down? He's like, I'm still there.
Yeah.
The last time we hung out, I think it was in Colorado. We were out there for Heaven Fest, that big event, and we skydived. It was you, me, Jim Woods, and
that's right,
Scott Harper.
Yep.
Harper
was flying the fast canopy. I wingsuited past him, and it was rad. We were trying to get some XRW going on,
right? And he had magnesium on his feet, and he wound it up, dude. Big, like man, it was, I think he did a 540, but then he comes in and he's on a narrow footpath that's asphalt. That thing's only like 3 feet wide, and he just right on that thing puts his foot down, lays just a big spray of sparks like 8 feet behind him, and just ripping. And stuff's getting up in the wingtip vortices. Sparks through. It was cool. It was cool. Miles came in with the wingsuit on, the big old RedBull wingsuit. Man, it's awesome. But man, I'm so grateful and thankful that you're here. Spend some time with us. I want to talk about you, man. I want to hear stories because you do some wild stuff. And there's a lot of guys out there that just they for some reason, I think the sense of adventure in guys has kind of decreased a little bit over the years, where they get so wrapped up in the things that they have to do that they come to a place where they are going to do whatever it's going to do, and they're going to do it at all costs. And I'm not. There are certain things that rate an at all cost, but man, work and success, those are not at all cost things, because you're going to miss the important stuff along the way, like hanging out with your kids, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Spending time with your wife. But then there's the things that you, of course, have to do. You're the master of adventure, because I know that you come from a big climbing background, and then into skydiving, and then into base jumping, and then wingsuiting, and it's never ending for you. And that level of excitement that you keep, while at the same time managing to keep your kids and your wife at the center of it all while still having a good time. You exemplify the not at all cost kind of person, and I love that about you. So
thank you. Yeah,
man, thanks for being here.
Thank you. People call me crazy, but that's a persona I play on camera. I just like to do fun stuff, and some people think it's crazy, but I think it's just fun.
Yeah,
A long time ago, Shane McConkey and I, we started base jumping, and we were thinking.
How long ago?
Oh my God, 1997.
Really?
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah.
Yep, 7,000 base jumps later. Well,
wow.
Yeah, we were base jumping, and it was like, we kind of need to turn this into our profession so that we can continue to do this, so that
get paid to do it.
Yeah, so not just paid to do it, so that we got to go to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we're not, if we're doing it for fun, people think, oh, that's so selfish, gambling with your life. Don't you care about your friends and family and that kind of thing, And I'm like, hello. But if you're like, if you're doing your job, then, you're going to work. And that's like when I go to the bridge, I'm like, hey, honey, I'm going to the bridge. It's like I'm going golfing or something. It's not like I'm going to go jump off of a bridge with a parachute. I don't say that anymore. I'm like, I'm going to the bridge. Sometimes I don't even say I'm going to the bridge. Sometimes I say I'm going out. I'll be right back, or whatever. But, it's just normal to go base jumping for me now. We live in Idaho in Twin Falls, and my wife was born and raised there. And when I met her, I was like, where are you from? Twin Falls. I'm like, I'm moving there. And she was like, uh-oh, crazy stalker guy. And she was right. Now we're married with kids. But it was, I always wanted to live in Twin Falls so that you could go base jumping all day, every day. Because when I was learning to base jump, it was kind of an illegal activity, only if you get caught, it was illegal. But I wanted to, I'm not all about illegal stuff, I don't mind, breaking a speed limit here and there, that kind of thing. But I'm generally a good human and want to do things right. So I ended up putting myself in the right place. You're a product of your environment. So I moved to a place where I could base jump all day, every day, and practice my sport in a fun way where it's not breaking any rules or hurting any feelings or anything like that. So, living in Twin Falls, Idaho is just, it's just been amazing. It's the longest place I've lived in any one place because, I'm a Air Force brat, and every 3 years or 2 years we'll move to another place. And, and after I graduated college, I went to Chico State University, and got a degree in physical education. And my goal was to be a PE teacher and coach wrestling and track and field and maybe soccer. I'm not sure. I love sports and sportsmen of all kinds. And well,
Did you wrestle?
I was a wrestler. Yeah. 119 pound United Kingdom champion, second in Europe in the Department of Defense schools. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I played football my junior and senior year, and I was the shortest kid on the team, but I made the kickoff team and made most of the hits. It was pretty fun. But wrestler, ran track and field, pole vaulted, ran the mile, 2 mile, long jump, high jump, and basically ran like anything that needed a filler, the 800 and the medley relay, stuff like that.
Did it all.
Yeah. And I thought I was going to be a PE teacher, and that's what I went to college for. And I wanted to be a PE teacher so I could play outside all day instead of sitting in an office, because I would go crazy. I'm a little bit on the ADHD spectrum, you might want to say. But once I get focused on something, then I'm good. And I got drive and something to work towards. And so, I got a degree in physical education, and then moved to Tahoe, and I was going to ski for a year and got sidetracked and lived there for 11 and a half years in Squaw Valley. Now it's called Palisades, Tahoe, but still Squaw Valley at heart to me, the Olympic Valley. And what a beautiful place. And I lived there 11 and a half years and met my wife, Nikki, there. And moved to Idaho, where she's from. And here we are, living there for 19, almost 20 years now. Wow. And I raised our family there. And my son just did a layup at a basketball game tonight, totally styled it. And he's amazing. And this is his first year playing basketball. Oh, good morning. Yeah, Baxter. Yeah. But I've been living in Idaho for a long time and teaching base jumping out there. Instead of teaching PE, I started teaching base jumping and skydiving instead. Yeah. And so I'm using the knowledge from my degree, just not the piece of paper specifically. Right. And teaching base jumping there since 2004, and just living the dream, playing with parachutes and having a good time in the sky, and trying to make this dangerous sport safe for many people, so that we can continue doing it for a long time and tell stories and just enjoy our lives to the fullest. Yeah. Basically,
what's one of the craziest things that you've done with the sport with skydiving, base jumping, or wingsuiting, or whatever?
Jumped inside a building And
jumped inside a building.
Yeah, the craziest jump that I've probably ever, the most technical jump that I've ever done would be in Petra, Jordan. We got permission from the Prince of Jordan to jump the Petra Wall, which is like with a treasury tower, which in the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, where the Holy Grail was, it's like a building cut out in the face of the wall in a cliff face, and it's actually in this tiny little slot canyon. It's like 80 feet across. So when you open up your parachute in there, you don't have much room to fly. So you got to go at a diagonal and turn it around, sink, surge, flare, land, and everything happens so fast. But we were given a permission slip to go ahead and base jump off of the Treasury Wall in Petra, Jordan. And at first I wasn't too excited about it because I was looking at it. It's not that high. It's like 300 and it's almost 400 feet. But so there's ledges and
bag assist, or
I did a pilot chute assist.
Pilot chute assist,
exactly. Yeah, you can free fall it, but if you free fall it and open, you're gonna open it and fly into the wall on the other side, into the cliff face. And I opted to do a PCA. And Andy Farrington, my teammate, RedBull Air Force, he had never done one, so I taught him how to do it really good. I'm all, squeeze this and never let go until it rips out of your hand, because my life depends on it, and he did perfectly. And basically I jumped off this. It wasn't a sheer cliff, it was a little bit positive, so I had to like push really, as in France they say, get the good to push. So I had to like shove myself out as hard as I could, like get away from the wall. And my shadow was like, I could feel the wall behind me as my parachute came off my back and opened. And then there's a ledge below me that's coming up. And as I open and clear my brakes, I'm like, like just over the top of this cliff. And then I went a little bit left, because if I went straight, I was smacking right into the wall the other side of the canyon. And I went left and then got into a sinking kind of turn. And like, it was like basically just about a stall on a parachute, and then just kind of pull it around. And I'm flying a 7 canopy made by Martin Tilley, Asylum Designs. And I basically just sunk that thing straight down. You could actually get those canopies to fly backwards like a Hayduke will. Yeah. And the new modern canopies with the float flaps on the top, you could fly backwards at 7 miles an hour. And I got it into not quite backwards, but straight down, because I didn't want to surge back and then have to surge forward again, because I was running out of altitude. And I just sank straight down and let it surge forward. And part of me wanted to go into the hole, the door, and I could have flown straight into the door. The only thing is I measured my wing tips is a little bit wider than the pillars. So if I hit the pillars, it would have hit my, collapsed the end cells of my canopy. And the stairs going up into the hole, they were sharp. They were super, like, this place was cut into the ground 400 BC, but still the stairs there were like super sharp, and like, it's been protected. Yeah. I elected not to go into the hole and smash myself into the stairs. And I ended up sinking it, surging it, flaring, and landing in the it's kind of like a little bit of a riverbed down below. And the dog that I fed sandwiches to the whole night before came barking up at me, like attacking me. And my canopy dropped in between he and I, so that he stopped from like fully going after me. And I fed him another sandwich after that. And we're friends.
A grateful dog.
Yeah, I know, right? He just didn't recognize me, and he hadn't seen a parachute. Most dogs go crazy when they see parachutes land.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen that before,
under the Prime Bridge. If someone's walking their dog and you come landing, dogs go nuts. Yeah, and I do that to dogs anyway when I walk in a room. Except for good old Baxter here, Baxter's having a little snooze. But that was my most technical, most hardcore. Wow. And at first when I looked at it, I was like, no go. I can't see how to do this, safely. And after surveying it, scouting it for 2 hours, I'm like, okay, there's 2 ways, and this is the safest. Let's do this way. Let's go for it. And
when was that? When did you guys do that?
Oh gosh. Oh boy. Dates, calendars. I can't remember exactly. I think it was like
2 years ago, 5 years ago?
8 years ago. Yeah, at least that. It was 2015. Something like that. It was BC before COVID.
I see some of the stuff that you put out that goes. You got some stuff going pretty viral.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah.
I watched a video. I think Sam. I think you brought it to me. It was on the RedBull, on the RedBull page, and you were coming into land. And you had opened and you were coming into land. It was over water, and then you went through a bunch of I don't know, maybe there's a bunch of tall grass or something like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You popped out the other side, and
Yeah.
I was
front flip out of it. Yeah.
And I remember going, I was like, "Who's that wild man?" And then I heard your voice, like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's Miles."
Yeah. I was just swooping into the beach and under the bridge in Twin Falls and into the Snake River Canyon, and we've got the beach landing area there, and I missed. I hooked it in pretty deep, and I was dragging the water pretty good. And I didn't hit like where there's no reeds. I hit like the big pile of reeds, and the reeds just caught me. And I didn't really mean to do that front flip. That was like induced by the reeds. Like grabbed my feet, started like front flipping me, and I ended up just tucking and going with it. And it was a slow tuck. It wasn't even a good tuck. Still kind of hit my head on that one, but I played it off pretty well.
Yeah. They got some good views. After I knew it was you, I was like, now I can watch it again because I know it's fun.
Yeah, that was a good one.
One of the things I saw too that went really viral was when Andy, our buddy Andy Stump, retired team guy and awesome guy, was doing the world record for distance for wingsuit, and you were kind of a major key role.
We did all the training here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was awesome getting our training on here. We even landed at his house once. I shouldn't say that live, but yeah.
You landed on a house?
No, in his front yard.
Oh, it landed at his house. Oh, got it.
Yeah. We're supposed to go left, but we went right, and then
he's right. Nobody watches this podcast. Dude, you're good.
We laid it out. We called Bonnie. Hey, can you let him know that we're all good? And she's like, okay. Do you need to ride? No. We're right where we need to be. Yeah, we're good. And we trained. We trained for a little over a year with Andy, and dude, he's impressive. Like he's legit, dude. He doesn't mess around. Right now, he's into the art of folding clothes with people in the clothes, jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a bunch of that up in Kalispell and living in Montana, and started Black Rifle Coffee Company there. And but yeah, he back in the day, we were getting our wingsuit on, and he's like, I want to do a record. I want to go for this. And next thing you know, we busted a move up to Davis where they can go high altitude with Ray Farrell up there, and pre-breathing for an hour. Oxygen.
What's funny is I'm trying to buy that plane that he jumped out of.
Yeah.
I'm working on that process right now. Yeah.
Good luck. That thing's amazing.
I know. Mostly the reason I'm really into that airplane is just because Ray's the one that took care of it.
Yeah.
And he's meticulous about his maintenance.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. I learned how to skydive in Davis.
Oh, did you really?
Him from
Skydance?
Yeah. Yep. Skydiving September 6th, 1995.
Nice.
Aim on. Yeah. And that plane, though, it climbs at like 45 degrees. It's just ridiculous. If you don't have your seatbelt on, you're going to roll the back of the plane. You can't even keep yourself up on the chair.
Which one did you have? Was it the Caravan or Grand Caravan?
The Grand Caravan, yeah, with a super, I don't even know what the engines are called. They're twin Texas turbines.
Texas turbines.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, yeah. And you get to altitude in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's like, whoa, how did we get here so fast? I'm not even ready. Right. Yeah, let me put my helmet on. Yeah.
That's awesome. So in your where did you? So the climbing. So this all your real first like adventurous thing that you did a lot of was rock climbing, right? Or was there some before? I mean, before that,
really, bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping?
Yeah, I got tied into the climbing community because we were bungee jumping, and we bring a bunch of dudes out and send it off of Barty's Bar Bridge in Oroville. And in college, I just got hooked up with my friend Jim Fritch, and he came out, and my roommate was like, "Hey, I got a buddy. Needs a place to stay." I'm like, yeah, have him crash on our couch. Next thing you know, I'm going out bungee jumping with him, and next thing you know, I'm going bungee jumping with him every full moon, and he's in town every full moon. Is once a month. It's pretty awesome. And then we got tied into Frank and Bali, my roommate, RedBull base jumper. He introduced me to Dan Osmond, and hanging out with Dano and jumping off Leaning Tower with ropes, and I got tied in with Dean Potter and like all the super amazing climbing folks from Yosemite. So I was just kind of in the right circle of friends and met all the cool people, and it was just awesome.
Yeah. Do you remember Jerry McCauley? He was a team guy. Him and another guy from Sky of San Diego went to jump off El Cap, and they took a bunch of SEAL team gear with them. He took radios and everything else. Got caught, of course, and got all their stuff confiscated. Got in some trouble. He was on the Navy parachute team with me, but he's the first guy I ever really met that was really into base jumping. Him and Jim Woods.
Yeah.
And so when those guys would talk about it, I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's just.
Yeah, you're either in or you're out. Man.
Yeah,
it's like
that's not my bag.
There's a line you got to cross to get into it. It's like, I'm all in, and we were just listening to Sublime. I'm not going back, and that was my song when I was like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision here? That's it. I'm not going back. I'm doing it. And it's like that. It's you're either all in or all out.
Yeah, and I think it's this world of calculated risk that you live in. After you do it, I think that is most like most things. Like you're talking about Andy doing jujitsu. I do a lot of it. Yeah. That's one of the comments I get most about this podcast, because people see my ears of the podcast and they're just like, your ears are pretty gnarly, dude. What did you do to them? Like, well, I didn't drain them. It's what happened. Yeah. And he kind of just stayed like this. But you if you're going to do certain moves, you have to count the cost.
Yeah.
What is my percentage here? Is this going to be a high percentage? Is this a good chance I can get this submission, or I can get to this position? What's it going to cost me? And can I get caught here?
Yeah.
And so with skydiving, I think that you're better at making those decisions the longer you go. But that 0 to 500 skydives, that's like this weird spot in there, right?
You better have a good PLF.
You have a good PLF because your flares aren't going to be right. You're going to be trying to downsize as fast as you can. Yeah. You're going to try to jump with like the cool kids at the drop zone, and they just don't have. They're probably less than interested to jump with you, and especially to coach you and teach you. So finding the right mentors and doing that stuff, it just turns into a mess. So now I think about base jumping. I look at base jumping through that lens, because I'm a very calculated risk guy. I lead a life of a lot of risks like you do, but mine is just a little bit different. So a little bit motocross, a little bit fighting, a little bit of skydiving, a little bit of this, a little bit of skiing, hard skiing, but everything has a calculated risk that begins to adjust with the tempo at which I choose to operate at, given my age.
Yep.
Being 53 years old, I'm like, certain things.
Yep. Yeah, it's all your physical ability, really. You got to like kind of operate with what you got. And that's why it's good to be fit for everything. You know what I mean? Fit for life. And
right.
I came from physical fitness background, so I was pretty lucky to have that to start with. The building blocks is like being like able to run a long way and be able to bounce off things. If like you crash, I can like tumble. I took judo a lot when I was younger, and that helped me out a lot. And I always learned, like, one of my big things that I like to say is like, life's not about how fast you can run or how high you can jump, but more about how well you can bounce. And if you're fit and you know how to roll and bounce, you're going a long way, and you'll get a second and a third chance.
Ready, break.
Right?
All right. It's not about how athletic you are. It's how you bounce.
How well you can bounce. That's key right there. Yeah.
Tuck your chin. tuck your chin, how well you can bounce. It's
Yeah, because if you can't bounce, you're not going to be able to have a second try.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so, like in the stunt world, right? For film, I forget how long I did that. 21 years?
Stunting?
Yeah, stunts for 21 years. There were times where I took some hits that were so crazy that it's just they're like, you want me to do what? We want you to do that, and like, okay, awesome. And then they get the
truck they're gonna hit you.
Yeah. they get everything. They're sending a sandbag that weighs about the same amount that I do. They're like, all right, we're ready for you. And then you put your pick harness on, and you're standing there in the spot. You're attached the way that they wanted to. They said, now we're gonna pull you from 10 feet out. We're gonna pull you up into the corner of the room, and when you hit the ceiling and you're hitting light bulbs, boom, light bulbs are sparking everything else. You have to go dead weight because you have to hit the ground like you're a dead guy.
Oh yeah.
And so this was in the movie Hancock, and it was Will Smith. I was fighting Will Smith, and he grabbed me by the face, and he's a superhero, and he uses a superhero strike that throws me up into the corner. Well, I was actually attached to a line that was going into the wall that was attached to a computer that had a spin on it, and it was crazy, right? Really? And it's got all a bunch of technical terms that people would be like, what does that mean? What is that? What, and so I'll skip all that. It's a line. It's attached to you. Pulls you up into the ceiling. It's attached to a computer, and it's attached to a spool of line, Yep. And when they fired that thing off, dude, I'm wearing my skydiving helmet. I'm wearing my armadillo back. I'm wearing every bit of hard elbows and knees that I have, and did a test run. Boom. And then they dropped me. I'm laying on my feet, right? And so they said, all right, now we're going after about 2 or 3 of tests with me on it. Now it was, okay, go. Now we're going live. Wrenched off my feet up into the corner. Boom, I get hit and just go limp. And you hit the ground how you're going to hit the ground. Yeah. It just doesn't matter. There's no more tucking your chin, pulling it in, protecting your ribs. None of that. Just wham. Now it was maybe a 11-foot fall. No, maybe a 9-foot fall from the ceiling. Boom, under the ground. But it was just like, I laid there for a second. I was like, man, I am getting too old for this. Let me just get right for a second. Just give me a minute.
Yeah. I've been hit so hard once like that. And everyone's like, are you okay? Well, give me a second. Yeah. I can't talk yet. I don't have the words. I didn't
do it so steadily that I was doing like all the big, massive falls and all that other stuff, right? There's all these guys that have their specialties for that. But it was enough for me to be like, this isn't, you could get messed up pretty good doing this, right?
We did a Ironman 3, and we're the skydiver team that could fly together. Yeah. And the thing was, we needed to fly together. We needed to stay in close proximity, but not looking like a skydiver, but stay close, but not look like we're trying to skydive. And John said, "You're perfect for this, Miles." Oh, thanks a lot, buddy. And and Jim with John DeVore, and we did before we did the skydive scene, we did like a giant zip line where we were all hanging from basically you have a belt on with 2 picks out the sides of your waist, and you're hanging by 2 lines. They go up, and you can spin, get upside down, and it's attached to a rope that's attached to like there's 1 rope per person. There's 13 of or 12 of us, or 13 if you count Iron Man, and these lines go from a crane to a truck. And the truck moves, and we all slide down this hill. And it was Iron Man flying us down to drop us in the water. And we did a bunch of, like, sliding down the hill. We did it for, like, a week. And then the last time we did it, they're all, we're going to let you go, and you guys are going to eat it in the water pretty hard. So protect yourself. We're like, okay. And some people, like Roberta, she got worked. She went head first.
How long was the ride?
Her feet kicked it.
How big was the hill?
It was pretty steep, but it was like catching you, it would hold you up. but then they would drop you from like 10 feet into the water.
Okay, yeah.
10 feet with the drop's no big deal, but 10 feet in the drop of the water while you're
At
moving,
45 miles an
dude,
hour. Yeah.
it hurt. And I was a water specialist. I was a diving board guy my whole life. I used to teach diving, and I was a lifeguard forever. And I know how to like just ball up, get into an egg, you know. And I did the old egg thing, and like it hurt. But I was like going off a high dive, you know, and everyone's coming up all like faces are a little bit off, you know. And Roberta, I remember. She was like, yeah, my head went in and my feet arched over and almost kicked me in the back of the head. It was pretty brutal. And, yeah, some people got wrecked on that one. I was like, let's do it again. You know, yeah, that was awesome. You know,
If you hit water and you scorpion
yeah,
in water,
that's bad. I've jumped out of a boat fast once and not a good idea.
it can get ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had that moment where you look at what you're doing and you're just going, at the moment, you're just like,
What am I doing?
yeah, I don't know if this is such a great idea.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that one?
Yeah. Instead of going, hold my beer, of like, give me my beer back, get me back out of here. Yeah, I've had that a few times.
Yeah. Tell me about like pick
You're in it to win it now.
pick one of the ones where you're like, if I do this, I'm probably gonna die.
I mean, I was just thinking about jumping out of boats, and it wasn't a die thing. I thought it was going to be hilarious, right? Because I'm driving the boat, and I figured I'd just jump out of it, you know? And like my friends was just laugh, and I thought it would be good to dive in, and that's when I learned that you don't do that because your head goes in, the back arches over, and the feet slap the water, and yeah, I was catching my breath, trying to like. You know, no life jacket, just like floating on my back, you know, like, yeah.
Or being in the water. Yeah.
That was a rough one, you know, but, yeah, I try not to put myself into life or death situations. I try to like just go into cool life experiences as my aim of the game.
So watch this. So
Yeah.
you just said I try to put myself in life and death situations, Mr. Pro base jumper.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of people when they see that, they're going to say, all right, so your idea of life and death is so different than mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, have an exit strategy.
It's relative.
Yeah,
It's relative. It's relative to how you live your life.
If you get in a car and start driving, to someone that's never gotten in a car driving, they're going to freak out. It's
100%.
It's what you're used to, you know. And I've spent years and years and years skydiving, you know, before I started base jumping, so that I knew what I'm getting myself into. And my dad was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, and he always told me never paint yourself into a corner. It's his birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Dad. Yeah, Phil.
You know what's wild?
Yeah.
Wild?
Yeah.
Is how old is he?
Oh, gosh. Okay, math. Here we go. Born in 40. He's 83.
83.
No. Yeah, 83.
So it's my dad's birthday.
84.
It's my dad's birthday today,
Really? Yeah.
and he's 80.
Nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dads.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Woo! Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. That's very cool. Yeah, he gave me some good life advice along the way, and some of it was like never paint yourself into a corner, always give yourself an out. And and that's the thing is like always have an exit strategy, you know, like, okay, if this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Better have a wicked PLF, you know, if I botch my flare coming in hot, faster than a speeding ticket, no way I can stand this one up. Can you roll it out? And luckily I took judo when I was a lot younger, and I used to jump off the roof of my house for fun and just roll and just flop on the ground. And I got really good at PLFs before I even knew what PLFs were, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, because risk is one of those things things that people think are risky. You look at it. So people will come out here to skydive, and they will say to me, I'll say, are you jumping today? No. My wife's jumping. I'm not going to get near it. Like, why? And then they all think that everybody thinks that they're original in saying this, and they're going to say, what are they going to say? Why would I jump
out of a perfectly good
airplane?
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm going to start laughing. I'm like, wow, okay, yeah. So about that, first, no such thing as a perfectly good airplane. There's something wrong with every airplane that flies. I don't care how brand new it is.
Yep. Wing tips fly off.
Yep.
Oh gosh, that was recent.
Yeah.
Too soon? Sorry, not sorry.
Secondly, the technology that goes into gear for doing what it is that you do getting the average person to understand that technology, and yeah, it can kill you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it has everything to do with the dude that's the pilot and his flying ability and his skill and his time in that wing, under that wing.
And the situations you put yourself in.
Yes. And all you tie all that together.
You can see, like, the balls start closing in and like, we got to do something now because it's getting crazy, right? You know, the weather's closing or whatever's happening, you know?
And it's, and so it's, whenever I talk to those people, after about 5 minutes of talking to them, it's almost as though they start, so I could do this. Like, yeah, statistically, you have a better chance of getting killed driving here than you do getting hurt jumping out of this airplane.
True.
And watching people get a hold of that in their head, and then all of a sudden they snap, because they haven't spent enough time in that relative space where they're like, consideration, maybe, could happen, and then all of a sudden that rubber band pulls them right back to where they normally live. Wow. Nope, not doing it.
Yeah.
Nope.
You almost were there, bro. Yeah.
That close back. They're actually doing something that had some adventure in it.
Yeah.
You know, stop being a little pussy. Get out there and do something that's exciting. And do it with people you care about, because if you're going to go out and just lead a life of
safety.
Yeah. It's like one of the things that we always say.
You're still going to die in a well-preserved body.
Yeah. Safety third, baby. We're like, we're a safety third family. We're a safety third crew, but that's all calculated risk.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
And living a life like that. It's, you know, and people say, oh man, you're a drop zone owner. You're saying safety third. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a mindset. I'm not saying that as a way of doing business. It's in my life. I'm going to take calculated risk because that's the life that I want to lead. And I want to have my kids learn that as they grow up and as they become men and young women, I want them to understand that, hey, sometimes you're gonna get a little dirty doing something. You get your hands a little dirty doing something. Yeah, you should go out and play in the yard. Yeah, it's, you know, this is what it feels like when someone's got their hands on you. Hold them down with their babies and tickle them a little bit. You know, let them know that it's okay to roughhouse a little bit. That way, someday when they're somewhere and they get freaking smacked in the mouth, they don't sit there and fold like a lawn chair. They know how to. They can be like, not my first time. You know, they can stand up and they can stand in the face of it. You know, but it starts with leading a life of adventure and doing something that is fun and is engaging, and you know, and the relationships that come out of it, right? Yeah. You know, I get to meet guys like you, hang out with guys like that.
The cool life experiences. I think that's most important thing in the world is having cool life experiences, because like that's what we have as our life, and you're gonna have experiences. Make them cool, enjoy them, take risks, but don't take like stupid risks. Like I'm like, hey, watch this, you know, whoops, you know, be smart about it, you know, pay attention. But like you said, safety third. Those are words to live by for me. I always say it's stick the shot, stick the trick, safety third. And those are rules when you come into Miles D's base camp. More guidelines than rules, because base jumping is more like, you know, there's no rules. It's all guidelines. Yeah.
We had one of the kids that works here. That actually happens to be my son's girlfriend. She was going to a base course somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many skydives do you have? She had probably 50 skydives or something like that, 100 skydives, you know, not enough. And I was like, how many skydives do you have? And she told me. I was like, yeah, I'm not super excited about you doing that. She's like, oh, why not? And I told her why. I'm like, well, probably because I have a lot of friends that died doing it, the base jumping. And who's your instructor? And the name that she said did not sound anything like Miles Daisher.
Yeah, I know.
And so to me, I'm already like, let's I do know somebody that I would trust to teach you how to do this. And again, so
yeah, 200 is kind of the rule of thumb.
Is it?
Start base jumping. It was 100 when I started, and not everybody had that, and that's just. But it was all relative too, like if you were studying it before, like as you were skydiving and you were studying it to get ready to prepare yourself for base jumping, there is a stair-step level of progression that you can do in the skydiving world to be ready a lot sooner for sure. But you miss out on the ride if you start early. You know what I mean? You don't get all of those experiences that you're going to get skydiving. Like 200 skydives, I thought I was going to die my first 100 skydives. I thought, oh my God, this parachute's not going to work. What about the reserve? That might not work too, and I had all kinds of gear fear, that kind of thing when I was skydiving. And I started base jumping before I got over it, Yeah. But then I finally started learning. I packed my own reserve, I went to a rigger, Taz. I'm like, hey, can I watch you pack this reserve? And she goes, even better, you could pack it and I'll watch you.
It's like a Mexican kind of Samoan looking guy.
No, it's a chick,
Oh, different Taz.
Gray. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, Taz Gray. Oops, sorry. Yeah, she was packing parachutes for us at Sky Lake Tahoe back in the day. She was our rigger, and then her husband Stan kind of took over, and he started. Taz and Stan were running the rigging loft in Paris, California for a while, and they sold that business, and he's now flying helicopters and rocking out with RedBull Air Force and like helping organize us and that kind of thing. But Taz, she said, why don't you pack it and I'll coach you? And I just wanted to learn what goes in there. How does this work? I want to know why. That's my biggest question in life. Why? And so I asked her why, and she's like, okay, here's how you do it. And she coached me through it. I closed the whole thing, and she sealed it, and like she supervised it, and like boom. And then I ended up using that reserve a week later in Eloy. And I was just like, oh God, I packed this thing. Oh God, I actually swam in a lake for about 5 minutes, and it didn't repack it yet because I was in a hurry. What an idiot. And cut away, got into a position, had a little extra time, took a deep breath, pulled the reserve, and wham! Beautiful opening. It was awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Taz, for that. Appreciate you, sister. Woo! Yeah. But yeah, she taught me what's going on in there, and that she also taught me a little bit of self-reliance in that one, so I can trust myself as opposed to I have to have the perfect, the rigger put it in. She coached me through it, and she actually taught me a whole bunch, and more than just the pack job,
So
to trust myself.
It was a confidence.
Huge confidence.
Huge confidence thing.
Huge. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's key. Even a false sense of confidence is better than none at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a question. What is it like being married to you?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's your wife?
No idea.
Tell me about your wife. What is that?
Bless her soul.
Right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Nikki, I've never met you, but you're amazing.
I wouldn't call myself emotional, but my wife would. You're so emotional, so dramatic. Why are you so dramatic all the time? Everything's drama. I'm like, not really. Yeah, I guess maybe. Okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what it's like being married to me. That's a my wife question.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to ask Nikki that one, and you might not get the answer that I want to hear.
Right. What is she like?
She's awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah. She's busy.
Does she enjoy action sports as well, or
she's done 86 skydives? But when we got pregnant, she's like, I'm done. Sell my gear. I'm like, no. And I actually sold it, because it's a small harness, and it's hard to some people are like, do you know where to get a small harness? But yeah, we can get her a new set. She's like, do you sell that rig yet? And I'm like, no, still got it. And I totally sold it, but I was going to get her another one, And I'm like, no, why would I do that? I had to hook somebody up. But I thought she was going to want to start skydiving again once the kids are older, And then she's like, no, I was just curious. And I'm like, dang, I thought for a second there we were going to go on tour and go skydive around the world and that kind of thing. Yeah, Nikki's done one base jump off the Prime Bridge and had a line twist because I made her go hand deploy because that's how I learned. It was tough love back then in the day. It wasn't like a pilot shoot assist like we do nowadays. Like, you're going hand deploy, and I'm sorry I don't have a 100 square foot canopy. I got a 240 for you, and you're going to be super under wing loaded. And She had a line twist, kicked out of it, turned around. I go, land in the river unless you feel it, and come on into the beach and land on the shore. And she landed in the river, and when I spoke with her right afterwards, she said, you can keep that sport. And I was like, dang it. I was kind of hoping you would love it, and we would go on tour and all around the world together and base jump everything. But I'm glad, because it's safer not having, your significant other as a base jumper who you're worried about. Because there is a time period when you're base jumping where it's dangerous. And if you don't have someone looking over your shoulder going, dude, you're blowing it, you need to lock it up and do these things or something's going to go bad really fast. It's good to have a mentor or friend, that's got your back. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have that, you can get yourself into a world of hurt really fast. I've lost a lot of friends who we didn't know what we're doing. We're still learning, and I lost a lot of friends in this sport. And nowadays it's good to have the vision of seeing things develop that are starting to get sideways and go, whoa, rein it back a little bit. See what's happening here? This is going in a bad direction. Straighten it out like this. I don't like to point out faults because you'll dwell on those. I like to point out what to do to make your fault better and go away.
Yeah.
And so, don't point out a pink elephant in the room, because then you'll dwell on that pink elephant forever, and that'll be your problem for life. But, hey, the way you did that was cool and all. Try doing it like this more. Steer it this direction. And that's just teaching techniques that I learned in college. And I just apply what I learned in school to coaching base jumping. And it's I don't want to call it easy, but it can be done easily. If you have the right mindset and the right, foghorn, leghorn would always say, now, boy, pay attention when I'm talking to you, boy. And if you pay attention, then you'll see things start to happen. Yeah. And the more you pay attention, the more you'll see. And the more you'll see, the more you'll know. And then the more you can prepare yourself to be ready for situations in the future. Mm. So that's foghorn, leghorn. Taught me lots.
Yeah.
As a kid.
Boy, I say boy. One of the videos that recently has gone viral, the guy that I was just picking on that was on our live is Craig Baker. He's my jiu-jitsu coach.
Nice.
And one of my best friends on this planet. So I love just harassing him. He sent me the video first, actually. And then a bunch of my other buddies, anytime that something has to do with parachuting is super cool, they always send me the video. And there's a percentage of them that have you in it. So recently it's probably been like 6 videos over the last, I don't know, however long, but 2 of them were you. Nice. So Craig sends me one, and it's the guy that's he's wake surfing.
Ryan Grubb, wake skating off the pool.
Yeah, with was it a drone?
Yeah.
A drone pulling him. So yeah. Craig sends that to me, and he was just like, "This looks awesome,"
yes.
And so, so I can't wait to show him this podcast. And
awesome.
Actually, he just saw it, but to tell him, because he was on the Instagram live, and then tell him I should have pointed out this is the guy that was at the bottom whoa, when
you can tell Craig that I got some clothes that I need to fold. He's wearing them.
Yes.
No, don't tell him that.
Yes.
Don't tell him that.
No, you can do it, dude. He's completely defeatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen, but I'm sure it could happen.
I took 1 semester of jiu-jitsu, and that's about it. So I'm not really at that level. So no, I think
But that video was awesome. Now a lot of people have seen that video. It got massive traction.
Big.
So you were telling me before we started doing this out, you were the one up there doing the test jumps for it and everything else. Break that down for me. How'd you guys put that together?
That culminated from about 10 years.
First of all, where was that?
Yeah, where was it?
Yeah,
it was in Dubai. On the address
right.
tower. It was in the marina. It's like a beautiful building with a big hole in the middle. You just want to fly through that hole so bad. I want to do a wingsuit base jump off the backside, do a backflip where you pump it up and fly through the building. I got to jump my wingsuit off there. It was cool nice. Because one of the higher ups in RedBull was there, and he was watching me do the test jumps and everything. And then I'm all, man, this building's perfect for a wingsuit. He goes, I'd like to see that. I'm all, all right, we got my wingsuit right here. You're in luck because this is my next jump. And he's all, really? I'm like, yep. He helped me decide that. I just wanted to do it. All I needed was a reason, you know? And, but yeah, Brian, he's been wake skate champion, like 10 years ago, or maybe even longer than that. He was wake skate world champion, and he did a couple projects with our friend Sebastian Edu Drones, and we started out doing tows. You know how you get those tow up winch systems they'll tow up paragliders or tow a wakeboarder across a pool. He was doing he was towing wake skates across like caves and caverns and that kind of thing. And then he started playing with drones and getting towed across water and doing really cool projects like, okay, we're going to go check out this wave, and we're going to get on the wave by getting towed out by a drone. And Brian and Sebastian worked hand in hand for years and years, you know, and I worked with Sebastian a lot for a few other projects, and then just got talking and like, hey, Brian wants to do this thing, base jumping off of a building. You know, he's got a few base jumps, but he needs to get trained up. And so they came to me, and I'm like, all right, here's a program, wrote it out. And they're like, hey, what do you think about this? We'll go start in Idaho. We'll go to Lauterbrunnen. We'll start jumping some cliffs and get your free fall skills. Because when you get sent off this building, it's probably not going to be like a perfect exit where you're like, perfect.
Right.
And then start tracking and go. You're probably going to do a barrel roll, you know? And I'm all, that's going to be your new move, the barrel roll. And he started hucking barrel rolls off the bridge, and we went to Lauterbrunnen, started like doing barrel roll exits and then tracking and then doing barrel rolls while tracking, you know? And we did a bunch of those skydiving first before we took them base jumping. And then, we spent a few trips to Lauterbrunnen and a couple trips to Dubai because we needed to do drone testing and building jumping testing. Yeah, buddy. Oh God, that's my favorite. And but just to show that we can do it safely, you know, that we're not just reckless cowboys out there just to like one and done and blow something up and crash into a family of 12 on the beach or something like that, you know. And so we did a bunch of test jumps and a bunch of training, and Brian, he's world-class athlete. He's actually a world champion wake skate again this year. So he's older than 40. He's oh gosh, what is he? He's like 40.
So he's like early 40s, right?
Yeah.
So and still out there doing that type,
crushing it, dude. He's fit, you know. He's getting after it. He's hitting the weights, you know, running. He's like, he just stays healthy, and I think that's the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is take care of yourself and exercise, breathe, you know, go out and walk it off, and so yeah, he and I worked together, and he was such a joy to coach because you don't have to explain everything. He's like Tom Cruise. You just say it, and he locks it up. You know what I mean? And and like, oh, I don't understand. Can you say that another way? Like, okay, like this. Okay, I get it. Click, boom, go, and can perform like no big deal, like on cue. You know what I mean? Like a professional. And Brian just stepped up and launched. The thing when it came down to the jump time to do that stunt, there was like a small, like, there are Miles, how come you didn't do this? Well, did you see he just turned in like 2 feet and sent it off that jump? That's not me. That's Brian Grubb. So power to you, Brian. Good job. Yeah. You know, he styled that thing, you know, and amazing.
Give it. We'll take a break for a second. So he goes off the building.
Yeah.
What happens to the board?
The board just flies away, bounces off the building, and goes into a McLaren at the bottom. The board is attached to the drone. So yeah, we can't just throw a board off a 900-foot building and just watch it just turn into a boomerang. Yeah.
Hit the building several times on the way down.
Probably would. Yeah,
then freaking pound into someone's Lamborghini at the bottom and
go through a boat,
piss off some prints.
Yeah.
Before you know it, nobody has oil in the West anymore. Oh wait, no, that's for other reasons. Yeah. Thanks, Biden.
No, but he what we did is we attached the drone. That was part of the testing too. Did a lot of tests. We went to Munich and tested it because that's where Sebastian's based out of. And he's in Landshut, which is right near Munich. And we went to the Olympic park there, and we're practicing drone tows and launching off the ramp and then towing the board away from the drone, or away from Brian with the drone. afterwards so that everything was smooth and clean, and there was a lot of testing went into it. It looked like a really cool thing, Instagram, rad video, sick, awesome, but that was years and years of training and testing and drone testing
For the 30
and
second
wakeboarding, it's 2 minutes. Come on,
Was it 2 minutes?
yeah. And then the making of and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was a lot went into that, and it was the most viewed video on Instagram that RedBull had of the year, maybe ever. So
Wow.
yeah, it went big.
And
it was big, but it took a lot.
You were behind that.
Yep, I helped do some coaching in that.
And
some videoing.
and you said Prada was behind it as well.
Yeah, Prada. Dude, Brian,
guys
did
did
you
it
notice how good he looked?
Did you guys do it once?
He was decked at one and done, bro.
One and
yeah.
done.
We only had a window weather. It was windy that day that we wanted to do it, and the wind just calmed out, like right when we were about to the cutoff time, and then we were going to have to go into our extra days, and it was starting to get spendy. So we got really lucky. Some kid let go of a helium balloon, and we were watching it, and it's going like this, and it goes up like this. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, look at this. The weather's changing. Hang on, pay attention. Watch this. Things are changing. This is going to be awesome. In about 5 minutes, we're going to be in this perfect window. Then it gets up to just before us, and oh, I'm like, no, another 5 minutes. Stand by. How much time do we got? We got 45 minutes. I think this can happen, and getting all excited. And it was like highs and lows of emotions. It was an emotional roller coaster that day because we're standing up top going, this weather sucks. It's over. And first you're like, oh God, we're so nervous. Brian's going to do it. This is the day. Is he going to live? Is he going to die? People were freaking out, and I'm like, he's going to live. Just relax, calm down, but people were really freaking out. And then the weather was bad. Okay, everyone calm down. And everyone's calm. And then the last 45 minutes, like, okay, everyone, don't calm down anymore. Get fired up because it's on. And it was on like Donkey Kong. And I did a wind test jump to check the winds, and it was a little bumpy right at opening altitude, but base canopies are resilient and they handle bumps and turbulence like no big deal. Got on the radio and talked to Brian, said, look, take it deep, bro. Deep is good. And that's going to give you more distance from the building. And that's pretty much what we practiced. And he was so ready when
take it deep means
a nice delay.
Yeah, take a nice delay,
yeah.
delaying your deployment of your parachute.
Yep.
Track as far away from the building as you can, and then
Yep, because it's going to be a little bumpy.
Right. Got it. So try to drive through that in free fall and not have to deal with it under canopy. Right.
Exactly.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yep. Exactly. The better air is down there, and then. Brian's been working on a front riser swoop too with the base canopy, which is kind of hard to get because you got to do it really low. Canopies, that's how most people die skydiving is low turns under parachute. And that's the cool guy way to land. Turn low, come ripping in across the ground, swooping, right? And so Brian wants to learn how to do this, and we've been working on it. Sometimes he gets it a little bit like this, a little bit like that, but he hadn't done as big of a turn as he did on the last jump, and he did it picture perfect. And I was just watching him, I'm standing there just stupid laugh going, like, yeah, Brian, dude, he nailed it. It was epic. Yeah. Perfect landing to everything. It all just came together that whole trip, and we did a bunch of test jumps off the building to get ready for it. And he was really close to the perfect swoop, and he nailed it in his full Prada gear, looking pimped out, looking really nice. And he styled it so well. I just couldn't be more proud of him. And wow. Just pro athlete right there, just shining that day. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so good. It's so good.
They made him a cake like this big of a building. It was beautiful. It was delicious. Yeah.
So then what did you guys do after that? Just you got on the ground and just, for starters, it marked the end of a long training cycle. It's not the end of a relationship.
No.
You guys stay buddies and still do fun stuff together.
Yeah.
But at the same
happy
time,
hugs, some laughing, high fiving.
It was the
interviews and photos.
You can mark the end of that stress moment.
Oh yeah.
But then it's like, what's next? Because it has to go uphill from here.
We went zip lining. Yeah, we went skydiving. And, we went skydiving. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Went out to the desert campus there and made a bunch of jumps. It was super fun, yeah. And we took one of the organizer guys, Philippe, we took him on a tandem skydive, too. He was so stoked. He's like, I'm doing it. We're like, yeah, let's go. We went on that tandem with him. He was so stoked. He's just pumped. And then we had a big old cake, big party. And then, I had to jump on a jet and jam out and more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next? What's coming up for you, Miles? What's some things that you
got
have
this
on your
resurgency
radar?
boogie going on
You
tomorrow?
got that? Yes,
Woo!
yes.
Fired up! Come on, let's go wingsuiting. Yeah, come wingsuit with me. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
And let's see. We got the team training coming up, RedBull Air Force style. We're putting together some new style acts that we're doing for air shows. And let's see. Going to Voss as an organizer for skydiving at the Extreme Week. I love that one. Extreme Week in Voss. And I'm going to be an organizer there with Fred Fugan. It's in Norway.
Okay.
They're all, can you organize all 6 days? I'm all, wait, isn't one of those a base jumping day? Going to have to take that day off and go base jumping,
Yeah.
And Fred Fugan, Vincent Cote, Ben Dicko. There's some just heavy hitters going out and doing that and organizing out there. And it's going to be just mega wingsuiting time in Norway. I'm just so pumped for that. And then there's the Pordoi wingsuit race is coming up. I'm going to MC that ceremony in Italy in
Wingsuit race.
Yep.
Racing wingsuits.
Yeah. See how fast you can go with a wingsuit, and speed is your friend.
What kind of speeds are we hitting with those things?
$130, 130 miles an hour. I think we can even go faster than that, really, honestly. But that's what I've been hitting. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
A little bit of training.
Are you gonna compete? Are you gonna
No, I'm gonna do the course, but I'm not in the competition. But if my score is really good, I'm not gonna be the MC anymore. I'm just gonna take the prize money. No, no, but I'm gonna do the course, but I'm not competing. I'm gonna be the MC and the kind of exit point coordinator because it's super fun. That's what I love.
Also, it's a race off a base.
Oh, it's a base jump race. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Off of Pordoi in Italy. It's beautiful. Take a cable car up and jumped it last summer. Pretty emotional spot because that's where Shane McConaughey passed when he was doing the ski base jump with he had skis on and a wingsuit, and he detached his skis and one clicked back on and spun him in, and he fought the ski trying to get it off, thinking he had more altitude, and he ran out of altitude and went in. And so that was like my best friend. That's the place where he perished. And being there, I had been there before with Shane, and we had jumped it years before he died there. And to go back, all of every word that we said to each other went through my mind again. And I just walked around, I bawled my eyes out, man. It was emotional time for me. And, we went there to go make as many wingsuit base jumps as possible that day and ended up doing 2. And then I'm good. This is cool. You guys go ahead. I'll watch. I'm going to hang out here. I'll pack your parachutes all day if you want. I'm just going to chill.
What was it that got you to that place where you're like, I just want to chill?
Yeah. And just
what got you there?
Soak everything in. It was like lost my friend, and I just needed a moment to just kind of take a deep breath and kind of enjoy everything. And sometimes people don't spend enough time looking back and reflecting on what's going on, where you're at in life, being thankful for where you're at, and grateful. And you're just so busy and wrapped up in everything. I just I'm going to reflect on this. So glad I'm alive. I'm so glad that I've had these experiences. I'm so glad of this experience today. And just gratitude, and I was full. I didn't need any more jumps. I didn't need to just, let's go. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm going to chill. I'm going to go try one of those carbonated malted beverages over there and just kind of hang out and enjoy,
You said something right there that was that's really interesting. That's something that I think about a lot is taking a moment to just be grateful.
Yep. Sunsets are a good time to just sit and reflect. What did I do today? We used to do that all the time, and in college and after college, I was always every sunset I would go, what did I do today? What did I do today that was awesome? What did I do today that I'm thankful for? And just reflect. Yeah. Nobody, not nobody, but like I think it's spend some time every day or at least every week. Go for a walk and reflect on what's going on and where you're at in life, and then you'll have a better plan of where you want to go, where you want to be. Then you'll be standing on the top going, whoa, how did I get here? Yeah. I have no idea, but I'm glad I'm here. Yeah.
So true. I love it. Miles, how can people find you?
Come to Idaho. MilesDasher.com is my website.
Miles Daisher.
Yeah.
All right. So Miles, Miles Daisher.
And anywhere the RedBull Air Force is doing a skydive demo,
RedBull Air Force,
usually there.
At Miles Daisher for Instagram.
Yeah, it's Miles_Dasher.
Yes, Miles.
Yeah.
At Miles_Dasher. So we'll put all that stuff on the screen, right? So people can see you. Give this dude a follow because you're not going to be bored watching his feed. It's wild.
Good times.
And his smile and his laugh is on all that stuff. And just, Miles, I remember when we were in Colorado and we were jumping into Heaven Fest and we got on the ground and Sam and Micah and you just blazed a trail right up to the front of the stage, and Family Force 5 was on stage. And it's just like, and I think it was Robin or somebody was just like, because somebody was talking, like, where'd Miles go? And all I see is fist pumping in the front. I'm like, I see him. There he is.
Yep, good times.
And you're up there with the boys. They still talk about that. They've never forgotten that.
So fun.
And, it's just, you have this infectious way, this way of impacting people. And I always say, like, influence happens from over there. That's why they call them social media influencers. They don't call them social media impactors, because impact happens at this range, right?
Yeah.
And everybody that I meet that knows who you are, which is a lot of people because you're a well-known guy, they all say the same thing. Miles, man, that guy. I just love being around him. There are certain people out there who, when you're around them, when you leave better than when you got around them. Yep. And very few people have that ability, but you do. And I am grateful for that because I hear about it all the time from these nerds that I raise, right? Sam and Micah. They're all, every time your name comes up, they're like, Miles, I miss that guy, man. He's awesome. So when Sam heard that you were coming here today, he was like, dude, I can't wait to see him. He was super excited to see you. So is Micah. Awesome. And everybody, and my do you remember my parents? So they were in Colorado.
Yep.
We went to my wife's parents.
Yep.
We all went there together. So that's my dad, the one whose birthday.
Yep.
So you have met my dad, whose birthday is today.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Your dad's birthday is today, and so
that's amazing.
So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for my dad. I'm grateful for your dad. Dads are amazing.
Thank you.
And what's your son's name? The one that did the layup? Eli.
Yeah.
Hey, Eli. Heard about your layup, big boy. That's awesome.
It was awesome.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
And Nikki, thanks for sharing this guy with me. And Miles.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being here today, brother.
My pleasure, bro. Thank you for having me, man. I'm so stoked to be here, man. Let's
do it again. It's gonna be a fun couple days coming up, right?
Yes. So fired up to get fired up.
Yes. BramRadio. Stay dangerous.
Yeah.